and I felt like...
Luister. Deze video is dik. Ik ga gewoon naar dit punt opnieuw gaan. Ze zei basically van... Ja, ik heb het gevoel dat mijn lichaam nog in die hypervigilant state is.
react so differently
Ik had hold aan het spelen,
my
ze
brain.
zei nog.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is dissociation. You have two parts of your...
Ze zegt gewoon letterlijk, ja, mijn lichaam voelt zich nog alsof dat hij moet opletten, alsof dat hij in gevaar is. Maar eigenlijk mentaal ben ik niet zo. Of ben ik niet meer uit. Ja, in die mindset van gevaar, maar je lichaam wel. En daarover
brain,
praat je
two
eigenlijk ook.
hemispheres. Your right hemisphere is where we experience emotions. Your left hemisphere is where we're basically logical. I mean, that's not necessarily true, but broadly it's true. Now, here's the really interesting thing. In the middle, there's this part of our brain called the corpus callosum. And the corpus callosum is what lets the right part of our brain talk to the left part of our brain. And when people grow up in a very traumatic environment...
Like dat is zichzelf is al interessant om te horen, vind ik. Ja. Dus dat zorgt ervoor dat de linkse en rechtse kant met elkaar kan communiceren. Dat is zichzelf, vind ik al interessant aan deze video.
That thing stops communicating. You may experience that everything is fine. The left side of your brain, which is active right now, is saying, okay, we're at work, we're maybe like gonna go get some ice cream after work, and you're like living a normal life. But the other half of your brain is screaming. And the problem is the volume has been turned down, so we can't hear it, or the headphones are unplugged. So even though the signal is there, this part of your brain is screaming, the left side of your brain doesn't really feel it, except there are times where it switches over. And then we feel all of these weird emotions. Like we feel all these emotions that we had no idea like where this is coming from. Feels really inappropriate because I'm like sitting here having my ice cream and my body is telling me like, oh my God, we're gonna die or something like that, right? So this is a really...
Like dit is al, like, I didn't know that shit. Dus basically, als je in zo'n state bent, als je het middelpunt van je brein niet werkt en niet het linkse en het rechtse laat communiceren, switch je gewoon tussen de twee soms. En daarom voel je je in een keer heel anders. Omdat je gewoon in de plaats van ze samen doen werken, van de ene soms naar de andere switcht. Tussen het logische en het emotionele of zo, zei hij. En dat is waardoor dat je zo soms anders voelt dan anders.
Really classic
Weer in gevaar.
situation. I think a big part of this, and the good news is that we can heal from this. What's really hard about this is how confusing
Bro, is
it
echt
is.
een handige...
Because you see like
Hij is een
other
smart
people
dude.
react appropriately to the things that happen around them. But literally what's happened is you have all of these pent up reactions that you've been carrying with you. And I can see that this is bringing up, what are you feeling?
I don't know what it is. It's just kind of just what I do is I normally just let it out. It's as if my body wants to cry, but I'm listening to you and I'm not crying, but my body is.
Yeah. See, it's happening right now. And so when you feel this way, what do you do?
Before it used to be really bad where I would like hit my
Like we
forearm or
zien
hit
het
my...
in real time gewoon gebeuren. Hier zegt haar lichaam tegen haarzelf. Oh, we zijn in gevaar. Oh, we willen het loslaten, we willen niet janken. Maar mentaal is ze daar niet aan het denken en zit ze nog gefocust. De twee delen werken apart.
Myself and be like, no, you can't
Also
feel this
common.
way. To where now I've learned that I let it be, let it process. You know, if I'm gonna cry, it's like I even close my eyes and I go, it's okay, you're safe, no one's gonna hurt
Ze
you.
laat het fysieke,
You
maar
just
niet
breathe and I
mentaal.
just let it out. Because the more I let it out, the more I let it be, then it kind of goes through this like stress cycle and I'm able to like be myself again. And then after that, I go hang out with friends. I go outside, touch grass. It's the touch, sight, smell, and feel that I do to kind of be present.
You
and
figured
like,
all this stuff out on your own?
yes.
This is amazing. Yeah, I think what's so sad
Het is wel
about
goed
this
dat
is
ze het kan
just
loslaten.
how much of this should have been done for you. I think people don't realize this. The way that we manage our emotions is through other people. Even now, you're sort of like a foster kid surviving on your own, right? And this is a situation
We laten onze emoties uit via andere mensen. Very true.
where I think
Very
like
true.
the healthiest thing is that someone else should actually handle that emotion for you. That you shouldn't have to deal with this all on your own and cope with it. And that you should
Hij heeft nu al basically 2 keer gezegd. Ja, en dan moeten de andere mensen nu gewoon helpen. Dat is de power van anderen helpen, man. Je zou zo'n persoon, die gewoon letterlijk iemand nodig heeft, gewoon letterlijk door er een keer mee te babbelen of zo, gewoon kunnen helpen.
be able to cry
Dat is
and get
uiteindelijk wat
angry
dat
and
is,
things
hè.
like that, right? So
Yeah.
like what a parent does when a kid is like 3 years old and they're learning how to cry, which you haven't been able to do because of what seems like some amount of Hispanic upbringing, foster care, things like that.
Yeah, my parents didn't like me because I was gay, so they kept me away from society, kept me away from people.
Yeah.
Like they had me essentially say, you were essentially a demon, so you need to stay in this area, and this is how you should act and be. You're quiet. You are.
So messed up.
So that's what I've learned, and now I'm trying to readapt to it. And the
Damn.
biggest thing is feeling my emotions. Like this, I can control. This,
Die healthy gamer GG is very
like,
smart.
it's so hard.
De dokter.
So, you know, there's a modality called EFT, which is called the emotional freedom technique. There's a lot of studies now that show that trauma is stored in the body. And I think that these reactions that you're having where you feel like your body wants to cry and your mind doesn't, like that's where like literally stuff is stored, is pent up. And I think it's got to come out. And I think the most important thing, I know this sounds crazy, but I think the most important thing is trying to find someone who will deal with it for you, because you've dealt with it on your own for like far too long.
So what does that look like then?
It's a great question. Sometimes this can be a
Inderdaad.
therapist. Sometimes it can be a friend. I think it can look a lot of different ways. Tragically, you were not given that growing up. And I think this is one of the saddest things in psychiatry, how insufficient treatment is a substitute for love. And I think like love really goes a long way.
Hoe insufficient. Let me try that again. Hoe insufficient. Hoe insufficient die shit is. Damn, bro. Let me just play this shit, bro. Let me just play this shit.
That
And
and for me,
How insufficient treatment is a
Insufficient
substitute for
treatment
love.
is as a substitute
And I think
for
like love really goes a long way.
yeah.
Damn, bro. I'm faded.
That
And
and
I-
for me, it looks like actions too.
Yeah.
Faded in a hole, faded in a hole, faded in a hole, faded in a hole. Ja, Jody, gang.
Thank you, C. We're gonna
Yeah,
pause here
thank
and
you so
switch
much.
participants. Snap.
Dus basically heeft hij nu gezegd 2 keer dat je eigenlijk bij andere mensen moet kunnen openen. Bij 2 van deze mensen was eigenlijk zijn oplossing in grote lijnen. Dat was het eigenlijk.
Before I call the next person, can we fly in maybe
Niet
some
om het minder
tissues
te
if,
doen
if
bij
people
hem,
need
maar-
them? Raise your hand if you need to grab a couple.
I brought one. I came prepared. That's okay. May need more than one.
All right. Maybe everybody just take like one cleansing breath. I know it takes energy to listen. It takes energy to share. But thanks everybody for the generosity.
Is Jubilee coated?
All right. Gonna choose the
Like,
next
what the fuck is
participant.
deze
Leah, I
video?
saw your flag up. You ready to go?
Dat is peak.
Let's do it.
Nederland heeft ook een paar bommenseries de laatste tijd, kan je niet.
Hi.
Zo reality
Leah?
shows.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Well, I just wanted to, for one, say that I've related to things that both of these people have been saying before me. First, in the grief, my dad passed away 6 years ago. That has been a significant source of my depression, and
Hij kijkt,
I have treatment.
kijkt echt zo... Je ziet gewoon dat hij
A
luistert.
significant source of my depression.
Man is locked
and
in.
I have treatment-resistant depression, but it's not for the lack of wanting to be treated. I would do anything for something that works, but like nothing has. Like it's like my mind is, I feel like, is searching for more reasons to be depressed sometimes. And also I relate to the dissociation. Like half of me is like somewhere and the other half is like super depressed. So for example, I'm a musician, and how I cope is actually writing about this really deep, dark stuff like suicidality and stuff. I write about that. I was at a show and the show was going objectively really well. Sorry. Yeah, I just looked out at the, sorry, I don't even know why I'm crying right now. Objectively, everything was good.
Did
I
the
just looked out
therapist
at the
just
crowd,
laugh, bro?
and I felt so empty.
Ik kan nu zo het gevoel zijn zoiets... Ze zoiets bij zei aan het zeggen, dat ik hoor gewoon de therapist lekker giegel uitlagen. Dat is lekker... Je zit zo presentatie te doen en je ene mat die zit gewoon dom te doen in de voorste rij. Zo voel ik me nu en ze is bijna serieus bezig. Lock in, lock in.
So, you know, I'm doing the thing that I love, yet I still felt, God, I feel like I've never felt more alone. Sorry, I did not expect to cry.
Yeah, can I
Yeah,
respond?
yes,
Yeah.
please.
Dit is iets wat dat veel... Dat is iets dat je veel ziet bij artiesten, vind ik. Dat is lekker echt. Alone worden gewoon.
So, thank you so much for
Mac Miller.
sharing. What was your
Veel
name
ze,
again?
I'm Leah.
ze zijn niet alone, maar ze voelen hem er zo meestal. Niet dat ze echt alleen in hun kamer zijn de hele dag, maar ze voelen er lonely.
Leah. Here's what I'm hearing.
Lonely at
So
the
here
top.
you are, you make music, you use it to cope,
Yeah.
but I imagine you like it too,
Yeah, of course.
right? And you're on stage, you're actually like kind of at the height of joy and fulfillment in your life. Like this is what you came here to do.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
I'm not exactly where I want to be
Yeah,
yet.
I'm sure that there's, stuff that can be better, but
Yeah,
if,
yeah.
if we think about, just the moments of joy,
Yeah.
and you're denied that,
Yeah, it's like things are starting for me, and
and then
why am I still not?
Yeah, right. So I'm almost like thinking about how hard it must be for the things in life that are supposed
Deze mensen weten like, zelf ook echt gewoon wat dat ze denken.
to feel really good,
Yeah.
Dat
to
vind ik
feel
wel
so
nice.
alone,
Yeah.
right? And I really hear that you're
kunt
got
lekker mooi
treatment-resistant
uitleggen.
depression, and I hear that if anything could take this feeling away, right? If anything would just allow you to experience life the way that regular human beings do, which is like when I'm on stage and having a good time and everyone's singing lyrics, I should be having a good time too.
Yeah.
Facts.
And that feels really, really terrible.
Yeah. it
Like you're
does.
being denied the chance to live an ordinary life.
Yeah, that's sort of like why it's so bad.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. How do you understand
Nee,
that your mind is searching for reasons to be unhappy?
Well, I'm super judgmental of myself.
Okay.
So
Man.
my self-talk
I'll
is
straight
like
up.
very negative. I'm sort of like at a constant like argument with myself. So it's like, but I'm also like, I know that I have to like,
Oh, deze
Accept
video ziet er
these-
peak uit. Solving laziness with Asmongold.
thoughts and not argue with them to get better. Like I know the solution on paper. It's just harder to apply in practice. For example, again, the stage thing. Like I'm doing what I love, right? Why is my brain, it feels like it's like looking for reasons to be upset.
So here's one of the tricky things I've learned as a psychiatrist, and I've worked a fair amount with people with treatment-resistant depression. Speaking of humility, I think there's 3 patients that I've worked with that I really have not been able to help that I can think of, and I remember them very well, and we tried really hard, and I think I hate that. But
What do you do about something like that?
I mean, tried all kinds of things. But I think the good news is that, for the 3 patients that I've worked with who have treatment-resistant depression, I've worked with 50 to 75, that things have worked. And the one thing that I would really tunnel down into, just because we have a little bit of time here, is to really pay attention to that part that
Zijn extra
is
tijd te
searching
krijgen
for
zijn.
a reason to be unhappy. So don't argue against yourself, but try shifting your attention away from that towards other things.
I've
to
definitely tried.
And I think that that's a skill.
And sometimes it works.
Right. So if it works sometimes, then that's where I think learning to be better at it can offer some relief.
It's just the fact that it always goes back.
That's where we get to part number 2.
Okay.
Which is to
Cool.
understand why your mind, there's a part of your mind that is really, really unhappy with being happy,
Yeah.
right? The most alone that you felt is when you are actually should be the happiest.
Yeah.
And so to really understand what is it within you that is looking for unhappiness.
We're gonna pause here. Leah, thank you. We're gonna switch participants.
Dat is wel sad, maar
Good luck,
dat-
Leah.
Thank you.
Time moves fast, but your credit score doesn't have to stay
Ah,
stuck.
hell
I remember
no.
how overwhelmed I felt trying to fix my credit, and I percent
Ah,
off
hell no.
to
Them.
Joseph, would you like to be our first participant? All right, head to the center.
Hey, Joseph.
Hi, Dr. K. How you doing today?
Good.
Hopelessness feels like a
Nice.
conclusion, but it's actually a symptom. Hopeloosheid voelt als een conclusie, maar is eigenlijk een symptoom.
Meet you, man. Well, does hopelessness feel like a conclusion to you?
That's part
dat
of
snap
my
ik niet.
issues is that when I am super depressed and I'm at the depths of everything, that's where it feels like there's no way out. And so is this a symptom of something that's bigger or is this my final state? And so that's where I get stuck because I know that it's a symptom, but the overwhelming thoughts is like, this is my conclusion, this is where I'm stuck and there is no escaping this. That's where I feel like I can't gain the traction, even though I know I'm supposed to, and I have the skills and I've met doctors and worked on this. I don't know how to get past that. So I get bogged down that I'm stuck here. That
Yes. So this seems
Dus hij, van wat dat ik hoor, zegt hij dat hij het gevoel heeft dat hij hopeloos is als hij sad is. Maar hij weet dat het gewoon een symptoom is en niet de realiteit. Maar hij blijft het toch voelen.
really hard because
Dat
it
is
sounds
wat
like
ik
you
denk.
actually know on some level that this is a symptom.
yes.
You've worked with doctors, you've learned the skills in your head. You're telling yourself, "Oh, this is just a symptom. This is not a conclusion." You try to disbelieve yourself.
Right.
And then what happens?
Well, then that's where 'cause I've made more progress. I'm not as stuck as I was, and thankfully, but I still have to work on this all the time. It never goes away, and I wax and I wane.
The fuck Johnny Sins
So
doing there?
when I'm feeling like I can't gain traction to get out of here,
What
and
the hell?
I don't know what
Did
my
I-
next. I can't gain traction to get out of here, and I don't know what my next steps are. It gets so scary that it's almost so. When I'm feeling like I can't gain traction to get out of here, and
Bro, what is
I
Johnny
don't
Sins?
know what my next steps are, and I wax. I still have to work on this all the time. It never
What the fuck Johnny Sins doing here?
goes step dragging me back.
Don't beat me up, please.
And that led to ultimately to some very, very deep depressions, suicide attempt, the loss of my employment. And so that didn't help, you know.
Yeah, so what I'm kind of getting the sense of is that you'll struggle
Bro,
for
doe
a
te let
while,
maar
but
chill.
then it feels like inevitably you're going to get dragged down.
Right. When I feel like I'm dragging myself backwards and I'm never going to get out of this. And it's like, oh no, here we go again.
Can I ask you, when you say I'm dragging myself backwards,
Yes.
what is that? Help me understand why you think it's you who's doing the dragging.
Well, that's
Hmm.
my inner struggle, your inner voice talking with you is like, well, you know better. You know that this is going to hurt, you know, and that this is something that is bad for you to bed rot, to doom scroll, to just feel hopeless. I feel disappointed in myself because I feel like I know better.
Would you say that disappointed is almost like self-loathing?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
How do you relate to that loathing feeling that you have towards yourself?
So what happens when that starts to happen is I perseverate on all the issues. I lost my job. I disappointed my family. I lost my identity. Being a fireman, I mean, firemen are very wrapped up in their profession. That becomes part of their identity. Fortunately, I tried to avoid that, but it still grabbed me. So that just really weighs heavy on my mind because I look at all the things that I destroyed or gave up.
So this is what's so tricky, right? Because what I'm noticing is that not only do you have the symptoms of depression, you actually have something else on top of that, which is a lot of blame for being depressed.
Yes.
After all, you've put in the work. You tried everything, right? And it's a skill. And the every day is, oh my God, it's like every day is a struggle. Every day is a struggle. Do you ever kind of tell yourself if you were different or if I did things better, then like all of this stuff would be working better?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you this, Joe. And I don't know if this makes sense. There's the depression that you feel, and then there's the way that you argue with yourself about the depression.
Yeah.
The way that you judge yourself for having the depression. What I think is really interesting is that's what's keeping it alive. Do you kind of get that?
Yes, absolutely. And I've worked on that with my
Hij
doctors.
voedt
You
het
know.
zelf op,
One of the things
basically.
that my doctor
Het is, zijn depression is stervende doordat hij goed bezig is, maar omdat hij het zelf voedt met negatieve gedachten, blijft het gaan.
for not using
Letterlijk de woorden dat je zegt, letterlijk tegen jezelf maken zoveel uit. Of dat je het positief of negatief vreest, gewoon. Gewoon als je heel de tijd negatieve dingen herhaalt in je hoofd, voedt dat letterlijk negatieve dingen in je hoofd. Maar als je het op een positieve manier probeert te zeggen, of gewoon niet te zeggen, ga je al heel anders voelen.
talk about is
Hey, but I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just a guy on the internet.
I feel like what worked for me to get traction going was I was going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to act like I'm happy
Strijder,
until
strijder.
I'm acting happy, you know?
Okay.
So I find myself feeling like if I don't do that, I'm just going to continue to beat myself up and it's just going to keep going and going and going. And I'm never going to make any progress.
There's a lot of studies on something called behavioral activation, which we think that we have to feel better in order to do more, right? I want to feel better so I can get out of bed.
Right.
Whereas there's a lot of evidence that shows that sort of faking it till you make it actually works pretty well. That when we step out of bed, when we force ourselves out of bed, the feedback that we get can actually be helpful. So I can totally see why that has been helpful for you.
Yeah.
I think the thing that scares me the most and feels so oppressive, Joe, sitting with you, is that just how much you have to work to have a normal day.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
You know?
absolutely.
And I think that's where it's
Understandable.
not so much about dealing with the depression and getting out of bed. It's really changing the way that you relate to your depression. That this is something that sometimes happens to me for whatever reason. I'm cursed in this way, which I know sounds crazy, but
Right.
sometimes it can be useful to even think about it like that.
Right.
But ultimately, changing that self-loathing is going to be a huge step forward. Yeah.
Gewoon accepteren dat je soms sad wordt. Accepteren dat je soms een slechte dag hebt en gewoon ride it out, bro. Ride it out. GG, go next, letterlijk. Gewoon chill. Volgende dag beter. Meer kan je niet doen soms.
Here, Joe, thank you so much.
absolutely.
It's time
Yeah,
to switch
thanks a lot, man.
participants.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank
That
you
was
for
awesome.
sharing your story.
Lamar, I saw you with your flag up. You want to go to the center?
Hey,
All right,
yo.
what's your name, bro?
Lamar.
Lamar? Alok. Thank you for coming up.
No problem. I would say that for me, I can't speak as to everybody's journey or where they've been in life. But as far as for me, I feel like this is like the conclusion. A little bit of background on me, I'm a Marine. So I've been in
Damn.
major conflicts. I've trained people for
Check
conflicts.
die
and everything.
arms up.
After being in those conflicts, I only had a week on how to adjust to being a civilian again. After that week, I started sleeping in the closet for 6 months. Had all my meals given to me in the closet because I couldn't deal with anything out there. Thinking that after serving my
Damn.
country for 8 years, that I would come back to opportunities, jobs. I came back to a park bench that I slept on. So I felt like I was kind of like left
America
behind.
war shit, bro.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
you were.
I was left
American
behind.
military is
I've
zo
accepted
sad om te
everything that I've
zien.
done, as far
Dat
as
ze
like
soms
my career
behandeld worden.
over there.
Maar in België ook
And it
waarschijnlijk.
haunts me a lot of things.
Nee, ik weet
you
het
know?
niet. Dat zou ik
It's taking
dat
over
zou ik
my
niet
life.
durven zeggen.
When I got out, it feels like it's a starter package. I would talk to mental health specialists. They would hear the problem, and then it's like they put you in a category and be like, all right, here's your trazodone, here's your alazapine, here's your, go out the door, here you go. If I tell you that doesn't work, then it was given to me like I was the problem. It almost seems like I
Dan moet
was
ik
getting
het zien.
penalized for the medication not working.
Absolutely, right? So I'm getting the sense that you sort of got judged, that you were supposed to be a certain
is-
way.
Dat is nu keer echt alles behalve wat hij moet doen als een psychiater. Judgen.
You were supposed
Als je judgt als Oké, ja, je moet wel judgen, maar je mag hem er niet judgen. Je moet hem er onderzoeken, niet judgen.
to respond. You were supposed to get better, and you didn't get better.
No.
And then they label you, they bucket you, they put you on this track. It almost feels like.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's that like for you?
Well, that's why I say it feels like a conclusion, because after that doesn't work, my only question is, what's next? I've done the meditations, self-help,
Mem heeft ook shit gezien, man.
believe in yourself,
Mem
you
heeft
know, go
ook
to
shit
groups,
gezien.
do this, do
Scary
that. I've done
ass
all that,
motherfucker.
and still I'm left with the same conclusion that it doesn't work.
So Lamar, I mean, I think what's really challenging about this is clearly something is left over from your time in the Marines, right? You're not the same person who went over. I don't know where you were, but does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
And then when you came back, they said, okay, for people who aren't able to integrate,
Bro, look like you
take
better kill me,
trazodone, take
man.
loxapine. Those are heavy-hitting medicines, by the way. And then if you don't get better, then do this, then do this, then do this, then
Aan
do
haar
this.
zegt te zien
And
geloven.
you're a guy who tried it all. It sounds like you've tried meditation. I'm sure you've tried therapy.
I tried everything.
And if I were to tell you, Lamar, there is something that will help you, there's something that'll help you a lot, how would you receive that?
I think that at that point, after being through everything I've been through, I would have to put you in a category, because I would ask you, is it medication? It's going to be group therapy. It's going to be constantly checking in. Like, I haven't seen anything different across the board is what I'm trying to say.
Great. So good. So now we have a different kind of
Valid.
problem,
Okay.
which is that you have learned that something won't work.
I think I was taught that something would work all this time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? Lamar, I think the problem here is that the reason nothing is working is because I don't think anyone has really understood what you struggle with.
So where do we go from here?
We understand you, man. We understand what's it like. Why were you in the closet?
Because just a little bit of history, just real quick.
Yeah.
I did everything in reversal. I graduated from high school in 2003. Going through a recession in Dallas, Texas, there was no jobs. I was working warehouses at the time. 3 years later, after the contract, I go into the Marine Corps. And then I take 3 tours. My
Damn.
job description changed from heavy mechanics and helicopters to now I'm 03 infantry, heavy machine gunner. Then I switch again to intel. Now I'm doing interrogations throughout the night. And these interrogations ain't
Yeah.
but I'm also telling my command I'm tired. I'm tired. They're thinking physically. I'm talking mentally.
Yeah. So let me say this,
Damn.
Lamar. What you just shared with us, I cannot stress this enough, profoundly affects every dimension of who you are. Affects your heart, affects your lungs, affects your
Facts.
cortisol level, affects your mind, affects the way that you cope with things, affects the way that you survive. Because you have to survive this. I don't think anyone can help you unless we understand the ways in which you're broken. You get me, man? We can't, there's no way people sort of labeling you and sort of saying, oh, like loxapine is going to fix
Bro,
this,
spit
trazodone is
facts.
going to fix this. That doesn't even begin to touch the surface. I think if you want any chance, you have to have someone understand you, right?
True.
And what you struggle with on a
kan
day-to-day
niet weten.
basis.
I think that you can have people that have empathy.
Je kan niet weten wat je moet doen als je niet weet wat dat de oorzaak is. En de mensen die hem behandeld hebben, wisten niet wat dat de oorzaak was. Zo simpel is het. Maar daarom heeft hij het gevoel dat hij unhelpable is.
But to understand on that surface level, I don't think I've came across that.
I believe you, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, even though you believe me and all this, what does it do for me? What does it do for me? You know what I mean? Like, what does that do for me? After we finish all this, guess what? I'm gonna go back to that house. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna contemplate my life. You feel me? I'm gonna contemplate it. I contemplate it every day, and it's been going on for so long that now at this point, like I said,
You've been alone with this, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I don't try to put it. I don't try to be a burden on nobody. I don't
So-
think anybody wants to be a burden
Here-
on anybody. Is what it is. You know what I mean?
So Lamar, I know this is gonna sound
Damn.
empty. Here's my experience. I've done a lot of work with veterans. First thing that I learned is y'all don't come back the same. Each and every one of you comes back a little bit different. Second thing is, I don't know that there's anything that I can do or
Maanden
anyone else
jaren
can do
meestal.
that will actually help you. I don't know that, man. Whatever happened over there was so bad. And there's a new diagnosis, by the way, called moral injury, which is a form of PTSD that is not when something happens to you. Moral injury is when a good person is made to do bad things, or when a good person watches someone else do bad things. That breaks us in a different kind of way. I will say, though, that what I'm hearing is that people haven't really understood you and that you've been doing this alone. And I don't know that this is, I can't predict the future. I don't know you. Maybe I'm an arrogant guy who says this, but I would say that since you like analogies, if I take my car to the shop and no one understands what's wrong with it and people start fixing it, that's what people have been doing with you.
Yeah.
They've been saying, hey, man, this is going to work. Hey, man, this is going to work. Hey, man, this is going to work. Now, as I say this to you, what are you feeling, Lamar? I see you shaking.
I'm shaking because, like I said, after hearing the same thing, it feels repetitive. It feels like I'm in a loop. Like, it just feels like a loop.
What's it like to be stuck in this loop?
Every day I feel like it
Damn.
might be my last. Like, you know what I mean? Might be my last.
Lamar, I'm grateful to you.
Grateful for y'all.
And I know it sounds kind of weird. I can see that you're really struggling. I can see that every day, on the one hand, it feels inevitable. And on the other hand, it feels like one day you're going to be off the loop and you're never going to come back, right?
Yeah, maybe.
It feels that way. And I think the beautiful thing about this, and I know it sounds weird to call it beautiful, is it blows my mind how many people feel the way that you do. There are a lot of people out there that have come back from war, have been cops, have been firefighters, and when they look at you, when they see you, I think what they see is someone who is like them, that they're not alone in this world.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we can fix you, man, but I certainly know that if you're alone, it's going to be way harder.
It's just my anxiety rises sometimes.
It's okay.
All right, we're going to pause here. Lamar, thank you.
That's sad,
Snaps
bro.
to Lamar.
My next surrounded claim is you can be productive and successful while still being deeply depressed.
All right, Ian, your flag was up. You ready to go to the center?
What's up, man?
Damn, Cody Carroll
What's your
nog
name, bro?
meer hoor.
Ian? All up. Nice to meet you, man.
All right, so I think my first problem is I see a bunch of women with red flags and I'm immediately attracted to them.
Okay.
The red flags.
Oh, gotcha.
I want to say, like, everyone in this circle is a fucking hero. There are days where just getting to live to the end of the day without...
Oh, dat was leuk. Bro tried to break the manhood een beetje positiever maken, maar het was...
yourself is
Hey,
the
respect,
hardest thing to
respect.
do, and we all did it. I would like to stay in touch with everybody because I think we can help each other better than your training because we have lived it and we know what it's like. I would say, like, on the surface, people would consider me a successful person. I'm a musician as well. The difference is I don't like music.
Damn, Shadi.
I'm just good at it. I used to love it.
Gewoon
I don't want to do it
deadlines.
anymore. I wanted to
Dat
be
is
a
waar ze
therapist
met
like
wel,
you
ja,
because I want to
kijk.
help people. And I think, like, just from
Dat is
the
waar ze met
experience
wel
is the
lastig.
real education. Being depressed is the education. I'm divorced.
Okay.
I woke up one day and noticed my ex-wife's phone was on Snapchat and found out she was cheating on me.
Okay.
I laid on the floor for 3 days and did not eat. I wanted to die. I've kind of wanted to die ever since that. 0 stars, would not recommend.
Okay.
I appreciate, anyone that's trying to help us, but I think we could help each other better than maybe a professional can.
Okay. So it seems like that's what you want to talk about, that y'all
Yeah.
can help each other
Right.
better than a professional
Right.
can? Sure. I mean, I think there's plenty of evidence that there are different kinds of help So a really good example of this is, so I do a lot of addiction psychiatry. So there are certain
Bro
ways
doet
that
a
I
lot
can
of
help
alles.
people, but what we know from tons of studies is that peer support is huge for helping people. I remember my favorite moment of medical school was attending an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. And it was so incredibly powerful. It is a kind of help that human beings can get from each other called peer support, which is very different from psychiatry. And I think most of the studies show that both help in different ways. But if you were to say that you can help everyone here around you in a way that maybe I can't, which is an interesting conjecture because you're assuming that I haven't struggled with depression. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I think that that's...
I don't think I said you.
Yeah.
Because I did say that I wanted to be a therapist too because,
Yeah.
and maybe that's
Yeah.
why you ended up here. But I think it's more like the experience is the teacher,
Sure.
right?
Do you want to talk about you a little bit or not so
Sure.
much? Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit? So you said
Hij heeft iets in
you
het
know,
hoofd.
on the outside people would see you as successful. What's on the
Correct.
inside?
Much like the last musician, a lot of self-criticism, a lot of discouragement, and just in general, not thinking I've done enough, thinking I've let everybody that believed in me down.
So I'm curious, when you were growing up, did you find that like whether you were happy or not depends on the people around you?
It depends a lot on the women in my life, if I'm happy or not.
Yes. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I know that I need external
Hij is aan
validation,
het degen,
especially
hè.
from
Hij is
women,
aan
to
het
be
degen.
happy,
Okay.
right? So perhaps growing up, like my parents were very supportive, maybe.
Were they supportive, or did you find that they were very conditional with their love or support?
I don't know if I would know the difference.
Okay, so I think that's telling.
Right.
So here's something that I've seen,
Valid
and
answer.
there's also research about this, which is that, you know, a lot of times people who are very successful and very unhappy on the inside, a couple of things. One is when you beat yourself up, you work harder than everybody else.
I
Right?
do.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's number one. Second thing is that oftentimes people who are like this believe that there's a choice between happiness and success. It's interesting. There's a term called psychic amputation, where you like lop off a part of yourself in order to become successful. Like you have to sacrifice.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
This guy's good. He's pretty good.
Right?
Literally selling your soul.
So I just saw your eyes light up. So
Yeah.
there are things that you want to do, but what do you say to yourself when you want to do something?
When I was trying to be good at guitar, when I was coming up, I sacrificed so much socialization just to sit in my room and
Play
twiddle my
guitar.
fingers on the instrument because I was like, I'm not where I need to be. It's not time to party yet. I was in a punk rock
So-
band. I didn't do any drugs. What the hell?
You did not.
Dat is... Je hebt zoveel trading gurus, zou ik nu een keer als voorbeeld nemen. Of zo, ja, video's over motivation, waar dat ze zijn zo... Ja, als je man bent, moet je je kamer opsluiten. Niet naar feesten gaan. Alleen maar grind, 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 grind. Nee. Dat is gewoon... Oké, je gaat dat misschien wel goed worden en wat dat je wil goed worden. Maar je gaat letterlijk een deel van jezelf vergeten. En dat is alles wat dat je daarbuiten doet. Je matties, je matties, je familie, weet ik veel. Gewoon gaan chillen met je vrienden. Gewoon dat je dat allemaal niet meer doet, dan doe je letterlijk een deel van je leven niet meer. Je stikt letterlijk weg. En dan... Ja, dat kun je niet echt... Dan kun je niet echt happy zijn dat je succesvol bent, want je hebt zoveel ervoor overgegeven op andere vlakken, dat je dus niet kan vullen met je succes.
Nobody likes that. So
Yep.
it's a hard one to... Yes,
Okay.
of course. Great.
Great. So you've got to make a decision, Ian. I mean, this is only for you to do is, do you want to continue living life the way that you have? Or do you want to allow yourself to be happy with things that you want giving yourself those things.
So I've been instilled with this mentality that if I work hard, like we're all told this as a kid, you're
Yeah.
gonna get what you want.
How's
Not
it working
exactly-
out?
Not well.
So you want to change it?
So stop working hard and get what I want.
That's not what
I
I
like
asked.
that.
Do you
That's even
want to
better.
change that?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
of course. It's just a hard society, you know. I got divorced and found out I was 5'7", and nobody likes that. So
Yep.
it's a hard one for you to fix.
Oh, yeah,
And Dr. K, could we also, I think there's like a specific thing that you're alluding to here, the need for validation from women. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of guys who might be watching this video who feel that specific need. Could you
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
hit that on more specifically?
I think so. We live in a
Die guy,
society where
die guy was al
validation
kluister,
from women,
man.
and this is what's really interesting, is amongst dudes is the way that we get respect. It's not even about the women, it's actually amongst dudes. So, you know, if you're someone who really struggles with being very, very susceptible to needing validation, I think a lot of this is because you've been programmed to let parts of yourself go. As long as you are not happy with yourself, you will be dependent on the people around you to get that sense of happiness. And just to give you just a tiny little example. So I struggled to date. I was just terrible at it for many years. And then I decided to become a monk, and I decided to be celibate. And then I was like, I'm done with women. I'm done. I'm going to just be celibate for the rest of my life. And it turns out that once I found peace with that, that's when I met my wife. It's really bizarre.
I'm not gonna do that, but thank you.
We got to pause here. We got to pause here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ian.
Horny
Thank you so
man.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Megan, I saw your
Horny
flag up. Do you want to go to the center?
Hey, what the hell?
Hey, Alok. Nice to meet you.
I think for me, my depression kind
Megan.
of stems from this sort of perfectionist mindset that I have for myself, and I feel like I can't
Damn,
get
this
to
video
a
is long
sense
as
of
fuck.
success or self-acceptance because I feel like nothing I do is ever good enough for myself. And
Ja,
every
is dit
time I
stuk, man?
reach those goals, I set higher ones for myself. And it's
Niet
just
zo
kind of a
lang.
never ending, like, I'll never be good enough, so why try kind of mentality.
And do you find that being perfectionistic helps you?
It kind of keeps me going in a sense
Ik
that,
ben de
like,
meest
I feel like,
imperfect
you know, kind of what Ian
perfectionist.
said, I feel like if I just work hard and keep going, that'll kind of get what I want. But it almost feels like that gets farther and farther away the harder that I try.
Yeah, but it does keep you moving,
It
right?
does, yeah.
And so if you didn't have that to keep you moving, what would happen?
Yeah, we just kind of stop trying, I think.
You'd stop trying.
Yeah.
And so what are you trying for?
Ja,
What are you
dat
trying
kan
to
ik wel
achieve?
zien.
I think just happiness, self-acceptance, success.
And what would you have to be in order to be comfortable to accept yourself? Right? You want to accept a certain version of yourself, right?
Right, the
Yeah.
version I have in my head that I feel like is just
Bro,
like
ik
the
met de
perfect-
therapist zo'n
like
crazy
I don't make any
streams in.
mistakes. I'm good at everything. I have everything that I need or desire, and I don't have any flaws, I suppose.
How did that become the standard? Why did you need to be so good?
Comparing myself to others is a big one.
Okay.
So I'll see others and what they're doing and think that I need to match that or be better than that.
Okay. And if you aren't perfect, how do you feel about yourself?
I don't like myself.
Do you remember a time that you did like yourself?
When I was a kid,
Interesting
just
vraag.
as I got older into high school and everything, I just kind of stopped feeling good about
Deze
myself.
gast stelt echt wel
So I
allerjuiste
think it's a
vragen.
really, really, really common problem. I think sometimes we forget that human beings didn't evolve to be happy. We evolved to function.
Mm.
And so you may wonder, like, you know, why is depression a part
Zijn
of
niet
how we
gemaakt
experience
om
things?
happy te
And I
zijn.
think sometimes people who are very
Goed.
perfectionistic, you know, there are a couple things. The first is
Damn.
that it helps you actually, it's a huge motivational component, right? Because if I want to be better, then I motivate myself and I keep pushing myself. I beat myself up until I achieve this thing. And then once I achieve that thing, then I will be happy. So I think the first thing is that this doesn't get better, because if I were to tell you, okay, Megan, you should learn to love and accept
W
yourself,
shirt,
would you
W
actually
broek.
do that?
It's easier said than done.
Easier said than done. What would stop you from doing it?
The like negative thoughts in my head of just not feeling good enough.
Not feeling good enough, right?
Right.
And so I think there's an element there that you can look for, which is that if you were to accept yourself, what would happen in your life? Let me ask you that. What would your life look like if you had self-acceptance?
I think I'd be happier. I'd be less hard on myself.
Would you do stuff?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So that's actually really good. So sometimes people get stuck in this perfectionism and they get dependent on it for motivation. It doesn't sound like that's the case with you. So I'm going to share another concept, which is, I think comparison is a huge part of perfectionism. One really interesting thing about perfectionism is that it's not like a diagnosis, but it is actually a way that our brain thinks, predisposes you to things like depression and anxiety. And so the other thing that I would strongly encourage you to do is to focus less on comparisons, but notice how much your mind compares. This is where this gets a little bit more Eastern, but basically we have this sense of ego or identity, and this is who I am, and I want to be this thing. But that's like an idea in your head. It's not really who you are. And another really common thing that happens when we're perfectionistic is we compare our insides to other people's outsides. So let me ask you this. This is going to be really kind of focused. When you do a good job, what are the reasons that your mind comes up with? Like, why did you do a good job? What does it say?
Like, if I worked hard at something, it'll say,
Alleen
like, you
van die
worked hard at
fast
that, you
vragen, zodat
deserve
ze het
that.
juist gaan
Really?
doen.
It'll say that?
Sometimes.
What else does it say?
Um,
Does it say you got lucky?
sometimes.
When somebody else does a good job, what does your mind say about why they did a good job?
That they're just good at it, or
Talented?
they're talented, they're
Easy for
lucky,
them?
they just got it.
They just got it.
Yeah.
And when you do a good job, are you talented or lucky?
I don't often consider myself that, no.
Yeah, so this is really important, where it's so interesting because there's research that shows that when people attribute other people's successes to talent or hard work, but their own successes to things like luck or circumstances or stuff like that, literally you're judging yourself on a different standard from the way that you're judging other people. And as long as you do that, then this will continue. And what some people find is helpful
Dat is het ding. Iedereen is een mens. Je hebt misschien de dikke Ferrari staan in je kop. Maar iedereen is een mens.
is when some
Ze zijn niet per se anders dan jou of specialer of luckier. Zij want
somebody else does a good job, to ask yourself, how did that other person get lucky? And when you did a good job, what did you do to deserve it? And it sounds like you're actually sort of halfway there because you do that sometimes.
Yeah, I do catch myself, thinking those things, but then it just goes right back to like the thoughts of like, well, if you were good enough, you would be able to be as successful as them, but you're not, so.
Yeah, so I would really tunnel down into how you learned that you're fundamentally not good. Right? Because a lot of that is like you're striving. So you're down here and you want to be perfect because you're up here. The question is, where did you get the idea that you're down here to begin with?
Yeah, that
All right,
makes sense.
we're gonna pause here. Thanks, Megan. We're gonna
Thank you,
switch
Megan.
Thank
participants.
you.
W video tot nu toe. Jammer dat ze niet meer tijd heeft soms. We gaan een Siege game spelen.